everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome back to 20 games that changed my life and got me to where I am now, where I review games full time. I'm Tom Vasel, and today I want to talk about a game called Nothing Personal. And if you look at Nothing Personal, you'll notice that one of the co-designers of that game is myself. Nothing Personal is not the first game that I designed. That would be Vicious Fishes, a small little game that I came up with. I actually posted a video on my website about it, and it was published by a print-on-demand company, and it sold a few copies, but not very many. And I kind of had the bug to do game designing to some degree, but I didn't really care that much. And the idea of Nothing Personal, I thought about it for a while. There was a game I liked called Kremlin quite a bit, and Nothing Personal was, I thought, man, Kremlin is a great game, but Kremlin is kind of an outdated game, and I'd like to see it kind of updated. And so I was just tossing around ideas, thinking about it, and in that time I ran into Steve Avery, who is my co-designer on this. We had both talked in the course of conversations about Kremlin. We have both talked a little bit about game design, and I mentioned I was interested in this. He said he wanted to do it. Now, I lived in Homestead, Florida, and he lived in Atlanta, Georgia, so we were close-ish, and in fact we got together in person a few times, but the majority of our designing of this game was done over the phone. And in fact, I remember distinctly when I had a eureka moment. I was in a very boring teacher meeting, sitting there, and suddenly I thought, wait a minute, what if everyone was put in a circle and they moved around the circle, and how they moved was done by their influence? And I brought this to Steve, and he said, a circle sounds like a good idea, but how does a circle work with our theming, which we had changed to be Mafia? And so then he went online and looked up the Mafia chart and showed how things could move down in that chart. And honestly, we back and forth, we had different ideas, and I would say, honestly, 50% of the stuff came from him and 50% came from me. I feel like there was a lot of design for both of us. And it was an exciting thing to design this game. And it did teach me a lot of things, as in, I'm not really keen on game designing. I liked doing it, it was fun, but it's not something I'd want to do all the time. I got bored of playtesting my own game because I like to play lots of different games, and here you have to play the same game over and over. I was very fortunate to have a very brutal, honest group here that told me exactly what they thought about the game, and that helped make the game better. So when we had the game, Steve initially wanted to self-publish it using Kickstarter. I was loath to do that. I would be even more so today. But the idea of Kickstarter intrigued me, so as I showed the game off to publishers, and many publishers were interested, when GameSalute came to me and had the idea of really upgrading the components and making a beautiful work of it on Kickstarter, I was fascinated to take my game and put it on Kickstarter and see how that process worked. And that's why Nothing Personal is on this list. It's not a vanity thing about me designing it. I don't care about that. If you watch our channel a lot, you'll notice I really don't push the game all the time because it feels weird to push a game that I helped design. And in fact, I've stepped back from enough that Nothing Personal, the second edition of it, which came out last year, I've stepped back on that and gave it to Steve, and he basically controls the game at this point now. But it taught me a lot of things. It taught me what it's like to do the game design from the designer's perspective. It taught me what it's like to talk to publishers and what their pitches are like when they are interested in your game. I realized at an unfair advantage, a lot of these publishers knew who I was, but that is part of what networking is too. So I saw that, and I also saw the back end of Kickstarter. I saw how it worked. I saw how the graphic design worked and working with artists and the money side of things and what it's like to work with a publisher and how to deal with reviews on my own game. See, I've been reviewing other people's games. I hadn't seen what a negative review of my own game felt like, and now I know. And so all these things it taught me so much about the industry, seeing all that stuff from the inside, and I think that helps make me a better reviewer because I know what it's like to be a publisher to some degree, working with them. I know what it's like to be a game designer for sure. I know a lot about the art and things like that. I'm not saying I'm an expert in any of these things, and in fact, I'm very clear that I'm not an expert, but this taught me a lot, and it really helped make me a better reviewer and helped influence where I took our channel, where it wasn't just board game reviews on YouTube, but that it was also other things. And we talked about game design and publishing and working with all these different people in the industry. So definitely a game that changed my life. Nothing Personal. I'm Tom Vasel. I'll see you next time.